Good evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Monday, June 5th, 2023. Let's call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Boyce.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Dole. Here. Crockett.
Here.
Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum tonight. As always, we begin with the approval of our minutes. In everyone's packet, you've got the regular board meeting minutes from May 15th, 2023. Is there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I'd accept a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett,
I'll second.
second by Dole. Roll call.
Crockett.
Yes.
Dole. Yes. Boyce.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Public participation, I don't see anyone in the crowd. Did you get anything, any correspondence, Chris? Anything?
We did not.
Okay. Village President's report, just a few things tonight, just to report that, on Saturday, I know we had the shred event, and I think, everything went okay on that. There was, you have a good turnout, Jacob?
Yeah, pretty good turnout. It was a pretty consistent flow from the entire course of the event, so we're pretty pleased with it.
Good. And then also on, was it Thursday, you had the movies in the park, the first one for the year, and the library did the concessions. They used the new concession stand and the bathrooms, and assume that everything was fine there too?
They did, and everyone was very pleased with the concessions and the restrooms. We got nothing but rave reviews from the community and from the library, so I'd say it was a pretty big success.
Good. You had a perfect night, and you've got that was the one for June. You've got one for July and August scheduled coming up there too.
Yep.
Okay, great. And I know also this Saturday was the Ride for Life. I know that they completed that event. And that thing, everything worked out okay there. I know that if you've had fire on the square already too, so the summer events are well underway, and it's been great weather to have stuff on the square, and it looks like the pillow's been getting a lot of use and the fountain's been getting a lot of use, but with the weather being as conducive, it's been wonderful. And then your first Rockin' in the Square is coming up June 16th?
Yes, it's June 16th. Before that is our annual golf cart parade set for 5:45, or 6:45, I'm sorry.
6:45 they're lining up again down by the school like we have in the past, so they come up Main Street similar. You got vendors lined up for the Rockin' on the Square? We
do. We have Mia Bellas and Sweet Darren's for this first one, so we're pretty excited about it.
Good. Other than that, I have nothing further. Village Administrator's report, Mr. Leroy.
Thank you, Mayor. We just want to talk a little bit about the property tax rebate. Now that the tax bills are out, the application for this year will be available online at our website, also at Village Hall starting tomorrow. A couple things to note. This is strictly for single-family homestead properties, so it has to be your main home where you live. If you moved into or out of the property in 2022, you won't qualify for the rebate. And the rebate, again, is for 100% of the village portion of the taxes. It's not for your full tax bill. There's additional documentation you have to turn in with the application, mostly driver's licenses or ID cards. There may be some additional requirements if there's been a divorce or a death in the family. And as you turn in your application, if additional documentation is needed, they'll let you know when you turn that in.
That documentation, even though they might have supplied it last year, they still have to supply the same documentation again every year, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's we didn't keep necessarily all of that stuff, and things obviously could have changed. Your license may have expired, or there may have been a divorce, or things may have changed. So even though you turned everything into Village Hall last year, even if nothing's changed, you have to turn it all back in again this year to get the rebate. One other change, you do have to pay your taxes by the county's due date, which is September 6th, in order to qualify, and we'll be taking applications until October 31st. That's the last day we'll accept them, and we will not even take any if you've mailed them. If they come into Village Hall after October 31st, you will not qualify. So get them turned in early enough to make sure you get your rebate.
And I know last year we were not as specific or specific enough about if somebody comes in and applies on September 31st and they just paid their taxes the day before, they're not going to qualify, right? You said they have to have paid their taxes by the due date.
September
Yeah, if they paid it a week or 2 weeks late, I mean, last year we let it go because we hadn't specified. We said they had to be paid, but we didn't have to pay it, or we didn't say by the due date. This year it has to be paid by September 6th. You still have till September 30th to apply.
October 31st.
Or October 30th, to apply for the refund, but you have to have paid it on time. If you paid it in between that September 6th and October 31st time period, you don't qualify. So if you know anybody that paid it late last year and they, think that, hey, when we did it last year, that'll be fine, it's, you've got to have it paid for by the county's due date, but you don't have to apply for it until October 31st.
You also cannot receive any rental income on the property during 2022 if you Airbnb part of your property out. Anybody who received any form of rental income during the year is also disqualified from the rebate. So.
And then another thing I know that is different this year, if the application is completed and they have an email on the application, you're going to send them a confirmation email saying that we've got it and that it's completed and, it'll be paid off come, in December.
Well,
last year there was some question because people submitted all the documentation, but they never knew whether it was all done or not. This year they will get acknowledgement for it.
The email is actually just going to let you know that we have a completed application. It's not a verification that you're going to get the rebate. That still has to be vetted by the staff as you pay your taxes. But it's strictly to let you know that we have your application and we have all your documentation, and then you'll know if you can check with Village Hall if you want to, but for the most part, you'll know that you qualified when you get your check in December.
So the email will just be that we have the application, we have all the stuff that we need, but if you pay your taxes late, that'll void all that too.
Yeah, there's several things that could disqualify you, whether that's we find out there was rental income, or you didn't pay your taxes on time, it's not a homestead property. There's things that could potentially disqualify you. We send out letters to anyone who is disqualified in the process. So if you get one of those letters, there'll be a reason stated on there as to why you're not getting the rebate.
So I would recommend anybody that's, interested that they get it done, you gotta get it in well before the deadline date, because I know last year we had people coming in on the due date at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they didn't have all their paperwork, or they had to go home and get it, and they were frantic about getting it in on time. It's so much easier if you could just do it previous to the due date and give yourself plenty of time in case you have to make an extra copy or get a document that you didn't know you had to have. Don't put yourself in that time frame.
Hey, Chris, when are these going to be available on our website?
They'll be available, they'll be on the website tomorrow, and they'll also have copies at Village Hall. If you want to stop by, you can go through the drive-through window or come in either way, and we'll have applications available for you.
Anyone have any questions in regard to the property tax rebate? Anything else, Mr. LaRock?
That's all I have this evening.
Committee reports, Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no agenda items, but I do have a Public Works meeting 27th of this month at 7 a.m. right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin.
I have nothing. Jim, you have anything? I have nothing. All right. Thank you. Another.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
I don't have any old items on the agenda, but I do have a new one. Ordinance 2304, an ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property, surplus municipal equipment. Most of this is office equipment from the office of the old PD, and they're not going to move it over to the new PD. I asked Al before the meeting when they could, if someone was interested in a lot of these desk or filing cabinets or chairs or when a conference table, when they could see it. and they're going to work that out. So I guess the best is to just call the PD at some point and on the non-emergency number and ask them, or call the village hall, or...
We may use some of the furniture, but we have had some interest from other agencies that would be interested in any furniture we're not going to use. So as soon as we get a surplus, we'll figure out, we don't know what our actual blue is going to be.
Right.
So it's quite a little early to tell exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think this is best, just to declare it surplus, but we're really not, they're still using some of the stuff now, and again, not knowing when they're exactly going to move, they'll probably keep using all of it, or a lot of it, until the move. So even though we're declaring it surplus tonight, I think we'll announce probably at a later time, I would assume after they've made the move and we realize exactly what we need and what we don't need, to maybe have open house at the old PD to display what's left. But like I say, we wanted to get it surplus now in anticipation of that move, which we hope is going to be in the next 30 to 45 days. It seems to keep getting pushed back farther and farther for one unknown reason or another. But this will be done, and we'll announce at a later time. I just don't want a whole bunch of people calling the PD tomorrow saying, hey, I see here you got a bunch of excess equipment. Yes, it's going to happen, but we'll announce when it's going to happen.
After they've moved out. My next public safety meeting is on Wednesday, June 14th, 7 a.m. here in the village boardroom. Our tip for the night is the police departments just north of Manteno are starting to report that driveway paving scams have started in the area. These traveling scammers go door to door offering to repave your driveway and then overcharge when they have done a minimum of work. Here are 7 asphalt paving warning signs of a scam. Selling door to door, reputable asphalt contractors will sometimes offer their services if they are doing a legitimate job in the immediate area. Always ask for references. Claiming they have leftover asphalt from another job. Professional asphalt contractors will know with great accuracy how much paving material is needed to complete a project. Rarely will they have leftover material. Push you to make a quick decision. Reputable contractors will provide a written estimate that will be valid for weeks or months. If the great deal they are offering you today is not available tomorrow or next week, it may be a scam. No contract offered. Insist upon a written contract specifying in detail that work to be performed and agreed upon a price. Cash sales only. Most reputable contractors take checks or credit cards and don't require cash-only terms. Deals that seem to be too good to be true. If the quoted price seems very low, chances are the quality of the work will also be quite low. Unmarked truck. Often the trucks they travel in are unmarked and they have an out-of-town address and phone number. A little research will reveal that they have no permanent address and the phone number is often an answering machine. This is the only one of many scams perpetrated by these traveling bandits. These can include landscaping, home repair, roofing. If in doubt or concerned about someone knocking on your door, call the police to have them checked out. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Planning and zoning, Mr. Crockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any items on the agenda this evening, but we do have a Planning and Zoning Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, June 27th, 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And the next Planning Commission meeting, which was scheduled for the 13th, has been canceled. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. I have payment of the bills in the amount of $157,760.99, of which TIF 1 bills are $2,496.22. We've had bills authorized and paid between board cycle $46,783.66. And our next Finance Committee meeting scheduled for June 14th at 7 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips.
I have nothing on the agenda, Mayor.
All right, so the items that we'll be voting on the consent agenda tonight are as follows. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have an ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property, surplus municipal equipment. The list is in the packet. Item number 2 is a financial motion to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $157,760.99, which includes $2496.22 of TIF. Are there any items that we need to take off the consent agenda? If not, accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read. Motion by Martin, second by Geske. Roll call.
Martin?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Boyce?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Accept the motion approved by unanimous vote. The ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dole,
Second.
second by Phillips. Roll call.
Dole?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Boyce?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Motion carries. Anything tonight you want to talk about, Mr. Geske, or Mr. Boyce?
I'm good, thank you.
Smart?
Mr. Geske?
I have nothing either, Mr. Kuski. Nothing.
Mrs. Dole? Yeah, one mistake.
No, yeah.
I was impressed with the big American flag that the fire department put up on their ladder truck for the Ride for Life. That was quite impressive or whatever, so, and there were a lot of motorcycles. I didn't count them. I know other years Pat Whalen has counted them, so, but anyway, that just, or Joel, excuse me, Joel Whalen. But anyway, that was impressive, so.
Sorry, I missed it. I usually go up and watch them go by in front of the community center here, but I was out of town Saturday morning. So it's good to see that the fire department put on a good show.
It was cool. I was impressed, yeah.
Mr. Crockett?
No comments, Mayor.
Mr. Geske?
I have nothing.
Mr.
I have
Phillips?
no comment.
Jim, you have any updates for Public Works and for the police department so that people know, I mean, what's their time frame on some moves?
Yeah.
You know, we've got a lot of moves coming up this summer, but seems like it's going to be late summer now instead of early summer like we had originally planned.
The police should be moving in before the Public Works building. We have police within the next 30 days, I think we're anticipating. The Public Works building, you'll be seeing landscaping taking place in the next week. All the pavement for the parking lot will be done next week. We just did a check on the main part of the building today, so that's coming within probably the next month and a half, I would say, based on their progress and everything else. So, yeah, 2 big moves. The fence went up over at the new Public Works building as well.
When the signs are coming for both of those?
The police department sign should be going in, I imagine, either this week or next week. I know that one just came in. I think today was the day.
That has to be wired up then too, once it's...
So we've got electric out there, so it's pretty easily done, but...
Are they installing the police over the door too?
There's the dome or whatever you want to call it, so that's on order. I don't know if you heard a time frame on that?
No, I've not heard back from
Yeah,
that.
we could check on that, but yeah, there'll be a new kind of round kind of awning that's going to go on the main door to kind of really specify, that's the main front entrance.
I see you took the temporary, or the other little sign that was out front, that's gone now,
Yep.
and there was no power to that was all solar, right?
Yeah, that one was solar. There's 2 other smaller ones. We took those down as well.
Anybody have anything else? Accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Motion by Martin, second by Boyce, roll call.
Martin?
Sure.
Boyce?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming for life.
Okay,